Hello, Leos, and welcome to this, your very first reading and predictions of 2024. For those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for trusting and clicking. I do not edit my videos. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. Before we get started with your reading, let's just make a couple of announcements here, Leo. So, the first announcement that we're going to make is for a couple more weeks, 2 more weeks, I have my annual special on sale. I only offer this special once a year. My normal rate is $100 for 45 minutes. Right now, for $90 Canadian, you get 1 hour of my time, and in return, you will also get a 13 card reading and overview of 2024. This is a personalized reading. It is on a live Zoom call with me. It is not pre recorded. It is not an email that I'm just going to send out to you with a picture or something. This is a live reading. So, if that interests you and you want to see what 2024 has in store for you personally rather than via a general reading, please click the link below. Okay, what else am I going to announce? Oh, right. Happy New Year. Now, there is some controversy about the current calendar that the world observes and that it should be 13 months and not 12 months, and that we aren't actually observing a new year at this time, a new year, and so on. I'm very well aware of that. I'm very well versed in that. However, unfortunately, this happens to be where we are at. It happens to be what we are currently observing. So, Happy New Year. We might as well celebrate. Okay, Leo, tapping into your energies, moving into January of 2024. Your last reading indicated that, let me just pull up exactly what it said here, that you had some deep work to do and that your beautiful butterfly was on the verge of emerging. Yes. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. I did give myself a Christmas present of several new decks. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you an opportunity to have a yes, no question answered. So as we're going through your general reading here, think of a yes, no question, and I'll pull cards for you at the end of the video. All right. So let's get started with cards as to where you are at now. As I mentioned, you may see some new, if you are returning, you may see some new decks coming out here. Special thanks to Hay House. I order a lot of my decks directly from them when they are holding their big sales, and they recently had a very large sale. And so I was able to pick up most of my decks at almost 70% off. I love saving money. All right. So where you are at now, Leo, where you are at now, we have the Hermit. The Hermit. Now, the Hermit has two meanings for you, Leo. The first meaning and the most commonly known meaning of the hermit is, Leo, it is time for you to withdraw from society. It is time for you to pull back, take some time for you, take some time for self-care. This is a time for you to go into deep meditation, deep awareness of who you are and what you want to achieve and accomplish in 2024. This is a time of really coming. I mean, so many of us are like, what's my purpose in life? What am I meant to be doing? What do I want to be when I grow up? These are questions that come up for many of us. And this card coming in is your gift to be able to explore that on a deep level. So definitely take some time away from the hustle and bustle. And in fact, if we look at the traditional calendar, we already talked about calendars, but if we look at the traditional calendar that we have been following for quite a number of years, a lot of our ancestors followed this particular calendar. this was the perfect time of the year for that withdrawal. So this is coinciding with the beginning of the winter season. We've just passed the winter solstice. The darkest days of the year are now behind us, and we're still in that stage of quiet contemplation. We're still in that stage where the earth is quite frozen in the northern hemisphere, not the southern hemisphere. They're opposite, of course. But this is the perfect time of the year for this quiet contemplation, self care, and this withdrawal. And as I mentioned, this card has two meanings, not just one. The second meaning of this card is that as you experience this spiritual awakening, as you realize the importance of self care, and you actually dig your heels into self care, and you create those boundaries in that place and that space for your self care, Leo, you are also becoming a mentor to others and a beacon to others. And this is a lesson in do as I do, not do as I say. All right. Do the care for yourself and be an example for others. All right. Where are we going for what you are focusing on? We're going to go over here to the Osho Zen. All right. One card out, but I can't even comment on it because it flipped out upside down. I can't see it. And what are the Leos focusing on? Look, there's another card out. Oh, it didn't go on the floor. I almost did. It's dangling on the edge. All right. All right. So the first card out of what you are focusing on is Beyond Illusion, the 20 card, and the 5 of Cups, clinging to the past. Oh my goodness, Leo. This is an exercise in futility with these two cards. This card is the second to last card, or sorry, the last card in the major arcana of the tarot. This is the World card. This is Beyond Illusion. This is you growing and completely fulfilling a path or a journey of your life. You are completing a life lesson right now, so and graduating to the next level. And what are you doing? Clinging to the past. The 5 of Cups, I also like to call it my crying over spilled milk card, because in the traditional tarot, the 5 of Cups is depicted as a character who is looking at 3 cups of spilled liquid, and the character is mourning those 3 cups of spilled liquid. Well, directly in behind him, there's 2 more cups that are overflowing with abundance. Okay. So that's why this card corresponds to clinging to the past, because if all we're doing is looking at the spilled milk, we're not seeing the big picture. And yet this card is indicating that you are at that precipice of completing a life cycle, completing a life lesson, and being able to move up to the next level. And that is specifically why the Hermit came in as well. 2 cards from them, both from Major Arcana here. Because when we're leveling up, we need more time alone. We need more self-care in order to be able to process these big lessons so that we can move forward and we don't hold on to the past. Okay. Now, it's fine to be a little bit nostalgic once in a while, Leo. It's all right to, say, "Oh, I long for the simpler times." Sure. But then have a look around and go, yeah, oh, wow, we just had an orb. There was just an orb that came right up through here. If you want to rewind the video, I'm hoping it'll show up, but there was an orb that just came right up over here. Rewind the video, it might be there. Okay, so it's okay to have some nostalgia. And it's funny, I was talking about nostalgia in the past and our ancestors and craving the simpler times in life. And then we saw an orb. Orbs are usually ancestors that come in. But then it's time to look around and see the bigger picture and realize that as much as there's 3 cups of spilled milk in front of you, there's also 2 more cups somewhere in your vicinity that are overflowing with abundance, Leo. And that's really, really the message here is don't cry over spilled milk. You are on the precipice of a huge leap in your life. We all know that we come to this plane of existence for the purposes of learning certain spiritual and soul lessons. This card is indicating that you have just learned a huge soul lesson and you are about to take a leap forward into the next realm of your soul lessons. Let's have a look at what's coming up for you in difficult influences. Getting called over here to just the traditional tarot for challenges and difficult influences for Leo at this time. I love this deck, despite the fact that it still has all the it's my cheater deck. It's got everything, all the writing on it and stuff, but I just like it because it's holographic. Okay. Although being holographic, when I do hold these cards up, show the pictures on them, the camera doesn't like them very much. All right, we have one card that's jumped out for your difficult influences and challenges. Let's see if there's anything else. We'll finish going through the deck. Okay, let's see what this card is. Oh, the Magician. See, it's holographic, so yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but the Magician. Okay, I'm super excited, but I'm also, okay, story of dualities here, spilled milk. The Magician is one of my favorite cards in the deck, Leo. It is about the realization and the awakening to the reality that we are in control of our lives. When we take full 100% accountability for our lives, all of a sudden magic happens because we are then able to be co-creators rather than sitting in the back seat in the vehicle of life. That is what the Magician is about. And when we have the opportunity to be a co-creator in our life, when we have the opportunity to be able to understand the ins and outs of how to manifest what we want, that's when true magic happens. However, the double-sided coin of this, Leo, is that this came up in your difficult influences. What does that tell me? It's telling me that you don't really believe yet, that you don't trust yet. And that perhaps is this lesson here for you. Okay. When we come into this plane of existence, we're taught that everything is black and white. We're taught that 3D is the end all and be all. We are taught that it is impossible to move matter with energy. And yet, what is matter? Matter is energy. So therefore, we can move matter with energy. Okay. But it takes a long time to give up and give over that belief system. And in fact, I can tell you, I'm still in the process of giving over that deeply held belief system. But each day that I work towards what I wish to manifest, when I work with my own inner magician, I believe more deeply. And that is your lesson right now, Leo. Believe. Believe in your ability to be able to affect and manipulate the energy around you, and everything is energy. Let's have a look at messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Sometimes these are completely random, and other times they are deep philosophical confirmations of what's going on in the rest of your reading. So the message that came out for you is feel joy in all that you do. Feel joy in all that you do. Live in the present moment. Live in the present moment. Feel joy in all that you do. All right. Let's move into what is unexpected for you. Where are we going for your unexpected? We're going back over here to the Light Seer Tarot. You might notice that for some of these decks, I'm able to shuffle significantly faster. It's because I've ordered the mini decks and I'm better able to manage 78 cards in my hands. I look at some tarot readers and they're holding a full-size tarot deck and they're able to hold it in their hand this way. I can't. My fingers don't stretch that far. Oh my. So I can see that there's at least one more major arcana in your reading. So far out of the tarot that I have pulled for you, Leo, you have, out of the 4 tarot cards that we've already reviewed, 3 of them are major arcana. You now have another major arcana here. You have the Page of Swords and you have the 8 of Swords. Okay. All right. The 8 of Swords is our 100% confirmation that the lessons that I've been talking about here for you are the lessons that you are intended to learn at this time. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But you also have the Temperance card here in your unexpected, and you have the Page of Swords in your unexpected. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords if you're unexpected. Sorry about that. Someone knocked on the door and I had to pause the video just a moment. Okay, so the Page of Swords is about truly embracing the unexpected. And this card showed up in your unexpected. It's about seeing an opportunity and instead of going, and falling into the past, instead of clinging to the past, it's about saying, you know what? I'm really, really nervous about this new opportunity and it's something that I've never tried before and I don't know if I want to do this, but yes. Okay. That is coming up in your unexpected right now, Leo. Truly, truly exciting for you in your unexpected as you wake up and fully embrace this World card, move into this new environment. And when you fully internalize the magician's lessons, wow. This is your Say Yes to New Opportunities card. This is coming up in unexpected. You have the Temperance card in your unexpected. What is the Temperance card about? It's about finding balance. It's about having the strength, the wherewithal, the courage to set boundaries for yourself, to hold those boundaries and not get caught up in someone else's emotional hurt because you had a boundary. And it's about finding the balance within those moments. And finally, we're going to get into this 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is the card that represents us feeling as though we are somehow bound up, that we're trapped, that we can't move forward, that we've got blindfold on. When we wake up to the realization that we're the ones that put the blindfold on ourselves, we're the ones that bound our hands behind our backs. How did we do that? With our belief systems. And if we don't truly believe that we have the ability to move what we refer to as matter with energy, because matter is energy, because everything is energy, when we don't believe that, we have bound ourselves into a belief system of believing that we don't have the possibility of being able to change and manipulate our lives. When we let go of that belief system, all of a sudden the blindfold comes off. That's your lesson right now. Take your blindfold off. See things from the deeper, bigger perspective, Leo. because that's reality. I'm getting called over here for your final cards. So, like I was saying, um, look at my hand. There's no way I can hold this deck of cards this way. Ah, all right. Let's take a look at your final outcome. General overall outcome for Leo. Got two cards that have jumped out. Anything else? Yeah. Put our deck back. And as we began, so shall we end. I think this happened to you. I'm not sure if it was your last reading in December or your second last reading, but I remember at least two of the zodiac signs, and I think Leo, you might have been one of them, where your very first card was the same as your very last card in your reading. Okay. So you have the Four of Autumn, also known as the Four of Pentacles, coming out. This is the card that I like to refer to as the Miser card and the Coveting card. I'm going to go into this card first before I get into your very last card. This card. This is your card of balance your budget from a very here now 3D world. Balance your budget. But this card also has the deeper meaning of coveting. Do not covet what others have, because sometimes, Leo, the grass is not greener on the other side of the fence. It's not. Okay. When you see a neighbor sitting there in this big, beautiful house and they've just spent $500,000 on a brand new renovation, they've got a new car sitting in the driveway, and you're sitting there going, I want, I'm coveting. You're doing one of two things. First of all, you're coveting what you don't really understand. And perhaps the reason they have all of that financial stuff is because emotionally they're very unfulfilled. And with you coveting like that and you craving what other people want, what you're actually doing is creating more lack in your life. So on this particular card, you will notice that this particular fairy is in service to this fairy. This fairy is looking very longingly at the life of this fairy. This one has to hold her chin up high at all times, be dressed to the nines, speak in a certain way, can't go out and play in the mud, can't go climb trees because she was born in the nobility. So she looks at this one saying, I want what this one has. I want that freedom. I want to be able to choose who my partner is and not have my partner chosen for me, and so on. Okay. This person is coveting what this one has. This one too is also coveting what this one has, saying, oh, I wish that I didn't have to wear these clothes. I want all the fancy regalia like this, and I want to eat all that fancy food that this person has, Okay. This one doesn't realize that if she had what this one has, she's going to have to give up her freedom. Okay. The grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence, Leo. So don't covet what others have. Begin to live in the present moment. Feel joy in all that you do. And you will manifest, magician, manifest more joy in everything. But when you are in a position where you are craving and coveting what somebody else has, you're creating more lack in your own life. And like I said, as we began, so shall we end. You began with the Hermit. We are ending your reading with the Hermit. Again, this is a card indicating that your period or time frame for doing hermit work is not ending at the beginning of January. And as you move in further and deeper into 2024, your hermit practice of taking time for yourself, your self-care, you're going into quiet meditation, whether that is going for a walk in nature or actually sitting cross-legged in the lotus position, saying Om, whatever meditation and quiet time looks like for you. Maybe it's taking a bath once a week with some candles. Whatever it looks like for you, Leo, continue that practice. Make it part of your life every day. All right. As promised, think of your yes, no question at this time. You may want to close your eyes, concentrate on your yes, no question. Ask it at this time as I shuffle this deck, and we will take a look at yes or no. Yes or no for Leo's question. Putting it out there. See if we can get one flipped out. There we go. We have your card. Here is your card to your yes, no question, Leo. It is not the right time. Not the right time. All right, Leo. Thank you so much for joining me. If this video resonated for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing so you'll receive a notification next time I post. And just another reminder, if you are interested in having that 13 card reading, the link is in the description down below. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you in the middle of January.